The Walking Dead is back tonight, and there's a character that everyone loves. He's brutal, he's mean, he swears a lot, and he has a baseball bat called Lucille. But what is the origin of this character? Why is his bat named Lucille? Why is he so evil and so demented? Well, Image Comics put out a little story that explains that, and we're gonna bring it to you today. There have been many questions raised as to who the man Negan is, and how he came to be. Long before the rise of the dead, he was the average American living the dream as a gym coach and taunting his students by beating them at ping pong. After making fun of his student, the child would run off crying, and another student told him he's sorry. Josh has always been kind of a crybaby. As he sits back in his chair, his wife Lucille comes in shouting what the hell is wrong with him. He's supposed to be a role model to these kids, and he's out there cussing like that? Negan tells her that he was only messing with them. He's supposed to be cool outside of school, too. As Lucille begins to argue back, she stops mid-sentence and falls to the ground. Later at the hospital, Negan sits with Lucille awaiting the test results, and as the doctors come back in, he tells them that there's no easy way to say this. And since finding out about his wife's illness, Negan has been distant. Even with the woman that he's been cheating on his wife with, what they do just has no meaning. His wife is dying of cancer. As Negan gets ready for bed, Lucille asks if there's anything wrong, and he tells her that he ended it. Lucille pauses for a moment and then she shouts, "Now? You waited for this to happen?" Negan says that he doesn't want it anymore, he just wants them to be together. She turns back telling him, well, he's not gonna have that for very long. Why would he pick the sick one? Time began to pass and Lucille's condition steadily became worse. As Negan sits with Lucille by her hospital bed, he tells her that she's going to beat this. She's like a health ninja who's going to broadsword the hell out of this cancer. Lucille tells him he's off his game. Ninjas don't use broadswords. Negan squeezes Lucille's hand, stating that he's not perfect. She deserved so much better. Did he do this? If he had been there more, would she have been strong enough to fight this? Just then, one of the nurses bursts in the room, telling Negan that they have to go right now. The entire hospital is being evacuated. As the nurse grabs Negan's arm, he shouts that he isn't leaving his wife. Get your damned hands off him. The nurse runs out of the room, stating that it's not safe here. He needs to save himself. And as he looks out the window, he sees people screaming, running away from those things. Suddenly there's a crash, and Negan looks back to see a young boy running by shouting that he needs to run. Negan slams the door and he moves one of the machines in front of it, and then he sits back down. He tells Lucille that it's best if she sleeps through this. It should all be over by the time she wakes up. Just then, there's a booming sound from the outside, and Negan runs over to see more of the creatures surrounding a car. But while Negan looks, he hears a groan. Lucille begins to reach out towards him. She falls out of bed and Negan asks if everything's okay, and she groans louder, blood dripping from when she hit her face. Negan says that this can't be real, it's him. Negan, say something, and she doesn't answer. So Negan kisses his wife's forehead and he tells her that he's sorry. He gets up and he moves the machine from the doorway, and as soon as he opens it, he hears a scream. The boy from before is surrounded by two of these creatures, and he shouts for help. The creatures reach out and Negan runs over, telling the boy to be more practical, and then he pulls off one of them. The boy shouts it's in their heads. They just need to bust it open or they'll just keep coming. Negan grabs a fire extinguisher and he cracks the creature's head, stopping to stare at what he just did. And the boy tells him thanks, and he asks if he's okay. Negan says no, he's not. He just murdered two people. And the boy says you can't murder people who are already dead. He did nothing wrong here. They were trying to eat them. It's been all over the news for days. Negan broods, stating that he's been a little preoccupied. And down the hall, across the elevator, there's one more. Could he handle it? The boy tells him, yeah, sure, and he takes the fire extinguisher and he walks off. And a few moments later, the boy returns asking, was that your wife? It happened to my mother today too, so I figured it had to be your wife. Negan gets back up stating, look, we've all been having a really crappy day, so how about we just get the hell out of here? As the two leave, they head down into the garage to escape, and Negan asks if he's got someone he likes. The boy says that there's this girl, and he was kind of actually hoping they'd be able to rescue her so that she would like him back. Negan laughs, haha, that's it. You're all right, kid. But before they could go any further, one of the creatures leaps out, biting the boy. He stares as the boy is eaten, and he sighs, stating, oh well. The weeks begin to pass, and one day, while Negan is trying to get gas, a group of men tell him that he best be on his way and leave that gas. Negan tells them, well, that's not going to happen. If you really wanted to take the gas, what car would you be putting it in? Without me, you got nothing. So how about we all just work together and get out of here? The men become quiet, and Negan says, that's what I thought. And nice bat, by the way. Soon the men begin to travel together, moving from one place to the next, and one night after a successful hunt, Negan jokes that he's never shot a gun before, but they're awesome! The men start to laugh, and soon the laughter dies, and Negan notices their campfire is surrounded by the walkers. He jumps up shooting the ones that he can, and as more show up, they quickly take over the other men and killing them as well. Negan grabs the bat, bashing over one of the walkers' heads, and then onto the next one and the next until there are none left. He drops the bat and he begins to walk off, and after having that feeling, that rush of using a bat, he decides to take it with him. More time passed, and day after day, Negan would meet people, help them, and then they would get themselves killed. One night after catching a rabbit, he says to eat it when he hears something coming from the woods. He points his gun, telling whoever it is that's sneaking up on him in the dark will either lead them to be dead or about to be dead. The man walks out with his hands up, stating, "Come on, you weren't about to eat that whole thing, right? My name's Dwight, and you look like you could use some company." After sitting down, Dwight leads Negan out to a clearing where there are others. And just as Dwight goes to introduce everyone, Negan stops him, telling him, "Don't bother. If they last more than a few days, then I'll learn their names. If they don't, what's the point? Anyway, nice to meet everyone." So Negan found a new group of people to travel with, and this time they didn't actually die a day into it. Slowly, though, Negan started to become one of those guys who gave the orders to the group. During their travels, the group found an abandoned hotel, which soon too became infested with walkers. While everyone scrambled to get out, Negan was there telling everyone exactly what to do. And unlike the people he was with before, these people listened. Everyone managed to get to safety, and the last one left was Negan himself, fighting his way through the last group. As he trips getting outside, he tells everyone, "Shoot! Open fire!" Everyone takes their guns and they do just that, and once clear, Negan joins in as well. Once the walkers are all dead, Negan tells everyone that they just need to find a better place. Follow him. And everyone in the group follows, except for Dwight. Time starts to pass, and Dwight begins to feel threatened that he isn't the leader anymore. And as the group moved through a town, they stopped by a clothing store, and Negan tells everyone to dress up. Things are about to get cold soon. After leaving, Negan stops by a stylish jacket that he just has to have. And once everyone is ready and dressed up, Dwight stops Negan, asking, "You seem pretty comfortable telling everyone what to do. Were you like this before all of this?" Negan zips up the leather jacket, telling him he was one bad mother, and by bad mother, he means a gym teacher. But before they could go any further, Negan sees a group of men with guns walking by, and he says, "Hello, folks. Come on in. We have more than enough for all of you." The leader of the group points his gun at Negan, telling him not to move, and Negan smiles, stating, "How about we put the gun down and chat?" The man stares and he asks what he would like to. How do they know they can trust him? Negan's smile turns to a stern look, and he tells the man, "Listen up. I greeted you with a smile and you pointed a gun at me. We have guns too, and we don't aim them at the living. Trust me on that." The man smiles and he says he really likes this. Later that night, as the group gathers around the campfire, Negan sees one of the women shivering, and he puts his coat over her, stating that he will go find her a blanket. The leader tells Negan that if he likes what he sees, he can try out the merchandise. Just let him know anything goes. Negan's heartfelt smile turns to total disgust, and he gets up asking, "What are you saying exactly?" The man tells him, "Come on, you know." And Negan says, "Yeah, I think I don't. And for the record, I have a real problem with it. I know what it's like to be loved by someone. Emphasis on loved. Did you lose someone close? Are we supposed to be surviving out here? Either you value human life or you don't, but whatever this is, it stops now or we part ways." The man shoves Negan, asking, "What? You're running things now? Are you gonna tell me what to do with our women? Well, you could piss off." Negan stumbles back into barbed wire, and as the man lunges forward, Negan reaches back, grabbing his bat and swinging it at the man's head. Everyone watches as Negan beats the man to death, and as his men step up, Negan shouts to stay back and they're gonna be next. He takes one more swing, shattering the man's skull, and he says that he knows that this was probably a little startling, but maybe he got a little carried away. Either way, it couldn't be helped. He reaches over towards the woman, taking his jacket back, stating that he's sorry. He didn't know how this was gonna play out, and he really likes this coat. He then points the bloody bat at everyone, telling them, "If you're scared, you should be. Now I know this is a bit much to process." And then he stops and he tells everyone, "Hang on!" And he starts pulling on the barbed wire. He kneels by the campfire, asking himself, what the hell did he know? Stop that. He takes the barbed wire and he wraps it around the bat and he stirs at the flame. And looking at what he just made, he looks back at everyone and he sighs, stating, "Okay, where were we?" He knows they're all scared right now. They probably have no idea what's up or down, whether to run or stay. He gets that. So let him tell everyone about Lucille. She meant everything to him, and he was a real piece of work. It wasn't until she was gone that he found out just how much she meant to him. When things started to go crazy, he was surrounded by the dead and survivors, though none of them actually lived long enough to earn the title. They're all weak people. Maybe even like all of them here. But he had learned something from watching those people die. He felt nothing watching them die. Not for them, not for himself, nothing. He wasn't scared or angry. It took him a long time to realize why he felt nothing, and it was because of Lucille. She protected him, made him stronger, helped him survive. So this bat, this is Lucille. Instead of watching all of you sorry people die like the weak people that he's met, he'll let Lucille protect you as well. Anyone who tries to hurt them or gets in the way, they'll end up like this guy. Your leader is dead. He was a real asshole anyway, but you can fight this, protect each other, because now you all work for me. We're the saviors. One of the men asks why they should be listening to him. He just murdered one of his own and he expects them all to fall in line. And Negan laughs, ha ha ha, look at the balls on this guy. Well, let me make myself clear. You're gonna fall back in line and start getting accustomed to taking shit from this guy right here, right now. Things are different now, because here's Negan. And there you have it, the origins of Negan. If you enjoy having your comic books dramatically read back to you in our unique fashion, please consider subscribing, since some of you may have just stumbled upon our channel looking up Negan's origin. Also, if you want to hear my reviews on comic books with single tweet reviews, follow me on Twitter @Comicstorian. And on top of that, just have a good day.